Alright, greetings everybody. Umbra Rays here today to talk and make an apology. So hopefully you'll hear me out through this entire video. Yesterday I did my WOTF video, and you know what? I was having so much fun before I made that WOTF video that I wanted to share something that I was kind of just playing around with. And I wasn't clear enough about what it was. And, you know, some people commented giving me some unfair credit, so I'm gonna set the record straight. I know that this may diminish some people's opinions of me, so let me just get it all out right now. First off, yes, I did use an AI generator to generate that image, because I have no artistic skills whatsoever. I love artists. I support artists a ton. I love going to like artist alleys and all of that kind of stuff to get official artworks. I mean, I loved the Magic the Gathering set, which has a ton of great original artwork. I always, just even with like, I bought these yesterday just because I love the art of the actual Digimon card game. I am full belief that companies should absolutely not be using AI art, because they should be hiring artists and supporting artists. But I am not a company. I am not a rich person. I am just a general schlub who's working a lot, who doesn't have a ton of time, who's already spending a lot of time on another aspect of his creative process. And as such, I just tried out an AI tool to try and make some artwork for myself. As for my story, it is 100% not AI. I am writing it absolutely on my own. Spelling errors and everything. I'm trying to fix them as best I can. But I am doing that on my own. And I don't support companies really using AI, or at least not being upfront about it, because I understand that it is a tool. I understand that it is a very powerful tool, potentially. It is a tool that is not used particularly well a lot of the times because, and this is me trying to be at least a little fair, like you look at it when it's like there's 6 fingers, or it's just all of that, like mistakes and whatnot. And that never feels good because like it's sloppy. Like somebody should be at the very least checking the artwork and being like, oh yeah, it looks good, kind of thing. Because it's starting to blur the lines between what people can tell is AI and what people can't tell is AI. And I don't even know if you, dear viewer, thought it was AI. But again, and specifically I want to say, like, to Pitaban as well as James Gamer Spam, nice name, 5639, I am not the artist who did this. AI does use a lot of stolen art a lot of the time. I specifically did not use a particular artist style in my prompting. I just kind of put it into the AI and kind of worked off what I got in draft mode to try and find something that I liked that matched what was in my head. And as a person who just can't draw all of that, it is a really cool thing to be able to get my ideas out. And also it was a really nice tool for me trying to work through ideas that I had that didn't quite pan out the way I want. And that's what I'm going to show for the rest of this video. The ideas that kind of didn't and did pan out, and the kind of the way that I worked with the tools to kind of generate something that's neat. Because like one day I would love to make something official, my own story, not based on an existing property, although that is fun to write based on existing properties and make like a novel and whatnot. I would love to write my own novel with my own world. I actually do have the ideas rattling around in my head, and if I ever did such a thing, I would not be using AI art. I would probably I say probably because I don't know what the future landscape. We might all be dead in 3 days. Who knows? It's a wild world right now. Silk Song is coming out. But, you know, I absolutely would, in an official capacity, want to hire real artists and whatnot to, you know, make my idea. That would always be like the dream for me. But money, time, all that shit doesn't allow me, and I'm working on other things as well. So here, like, I wanted to just show off some more concept art. This is not even necessarily the concept art that I'm using, because I'm still kind of paranoid that someone's gonna just take it and run with it, and it's like, oh man, no, I was gonna use that. But I guess this video is my proof. So here, this was like something that I was working through and just going through the steps here. Like originally, like I had this idea of this kind of like a creature because I thought that it would match the world really well to what I was working with, to the time period and everything. And it just didn't quite work. And so being able to like immediately go back and change details and everything to create something sort of new was really fun. And the draft mode is actually really neat for spitting out ideas and concepts really quite quickly to potentially work off more in a better way in the future. But like this, for example, felt so much more kind of in tune to what I had actually envisioned, where it was like not necessarily even the darker color, because it's not supposed to be like an evil character, but it was just so slick and a little bit more elemental as to what I kind of wanted it to be. I love elemental stuff. I love gem-based stuff, trying to work gems into a lot of this content that I'm making. And so, you know, that was one. This was another one that actually turned out really well, really fast, because I had the perfect idea of like, oh yeah, I want it to be a manticore. I want it to be this like kind of majestic version of a manticore, because manticores are usually like evil things, like ferocious things. Thought it would be just such a neat idea to have this more noble version of it. Built it kind of from there, gave it like more angelic wings and whatnot, because it matches the kind of character, but still has that piercing because it, again, related to a specific character, which I'm not going to talk too much about yet because I'd rather you read the story. But neat to see it come to life. And then the one I kind of talked about or showed off yesterday, which was that flesh-written zombie. Like working through it, like this was very early on when I was trying to get it, and just being like, you know, this kind of rotting character that's like, as I was able to go through it, I was able to kind of envision a little bit more, and it actually did help a little bit with like my writing too, because now I have a much clearer thing to work off of that I can keep straight in my head of being like, this is what I want. And by the way, this is not what I wanted. Like, to go even a step further, this was another version that I had a really hard time saying no to. It's just so close to what I kind of had envisioned, where the cloak, because this character actually is called White Cloak because you don't know who he is. Or, well, yeah, who he is, sort of thing. It was really neat to like see this cloak be part of him with these overgrowths off of it, and what exactly that means to the character and what's going on in the story was really fun. It was totally self-indulgent and absolutely awesome. And yeah, as much as I apologize, you know, because I'm Canadian, I want to apologize always for doing wrong. It's so cool. It really is, as like a creative tool to just bounce ideas off of and see what comes out. Really neat. And like this, which is related to that character, was a ton of fun to actually workshop, where this one very early on, it didn't quite resemble anything. So I moved on from this and kind of landed a little bit more on like a fusion between this and this, where it's just so monstrous with like this like thin, like creepy tongue coming out of it. These gnarled horns and everything, this rotting body. It was just so much fun to kind of get it to work, sort of thing. Same with this, with the like rotting flesh. This one actually is fairly close to the version that I actually went with. This is one of those cases where, just like with this, the concept art was so cool for it that I almost just said, no, let's just use the concept art because it's way too good in this case. And then just related to another main character, I unapologetically love dragons every time, and kind of working off of all of these different ideas of like this very traditional dragon. This was one of the most early ones that I tried to get to spit out, and it's neat, not super what I wanted, but very quickly I was able to go back and be like, all right, I want it armored, I want it like massive wings, because like 16's Bahamut, Final Fantasy 16's Bahamut is just so ingrained in my brain recently. Such a neat version of him. And not only that, but like Final Fantasy 8 as well. So yeah, I mean, like Bahamut is just such a beloved thing, and I think that whenever you're creating stuff, it helps to kind of take inspiration from things you love because it motivates you, you know. It's something that you want to do, so it's better. And then just working through these ideas of multiple tales and whatnot. And like this again was a, you know, a more final version that the AI could put out. It was neat. It wasn't something I actually landed on because I thought it was just too like mono color, but it was still cool. It was still neat. It's kind of neat to feel like I have this dragon at this point that's not anywhere else out there, and like something that I can do with. Especially because like if you train an AI model, then you can get a working thing to actually like make a lot more neat stuff later on. So all of that was really cool. And then just the last one, again, this one was totally based on like behemoths and adamantoises from Final Fantasy, taking like some similar aspects of it. It went in some weird directions at certain points where I was like, what if we made it a little more dinosaur to get the kind of shape that I want? It didn't quite work out. This, again, not my final version because this is very adamantoisy from Final Fantasy. Like, honestly, like, if they ever did like a cell, kind of maybe a little more cell shaded anime inspired, less like what they're going for right now, I could totally see this in a Final Fantasy game, of this being like a really wicked Deathclaw version. And again, like just trying to get ideas on paper of my characters and everything. That's what I'm essentially doing, but it's fun. It's unapologetically fun to have my ideas and be able to show my ideas and work with something that I can like translate out what I want to show people, what is in my brain. And to a certain point when you're writing, I do understand that it's like, hey, people are going to read the thing and come up with their own picture in their own imagination. But I think it is fun to convey a story and show some of the ideas that you had, or at the very least, like if I never use any of this artwork, if I just like decide, nah, I mean, people are just too maybe emotional about AI stuff right now and too unforgiving sort of thing. Maybe not emotional, that's not maybe the right word, but then, you know, I just won't use the AI, and it'll just be like a nice little tool for me in the background to be like, okay, this is what I wanted the creature to look like. How would I describe that in my own writing to make sure like I get a better descriptions, because I think descriptions are so important. So that was a lot of talking about just everything that I currently am thinking about right now, to do with like my own story, my own writing. I want to publish at least the start of it in September and do like a chapter a week sort of thing, where it's like fun for people to come back, because like that's what it was like when I was growing up. Stories were weekly a lot of the time, you know, if nothing reset. But so anyway, that's all I have to say today about this kind of stuff. Apologies, I definitely didn't want to lead anybody down the wrong path, because otherwise I wouldn't have made this video in the first place. So thanks so much for watching. Take care and see you later.